7 Things Fake People Say to Manipulate You. Stoicism. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused, guilty, or emotionally drained without knowing why? Some people have mastered the art of manipulation. They don't always raise their voices or make obvious threats. Instead, they hide behind carefully chosen words designed to control your emotions and influence your decisions. Stoicism teaches us that peace begins when we recognize these tactics and refuse to surrender our minds to them. The Stoics believe that no one has power over your inner world unless you willingly hand it over. Once you understand how manipulation works, you become far more difficult to deceive. In this video, you'll discover the common phrases fake people use and the timeless Stoic wisdom that protects you from their influence. Stay until the end because the final lesson could completely change the way you deal with difficult people. And if you enjoy practical Stoic wisdom that helps you build confidence, emotional strength, and inner peace, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. One of the favorite tools of fake people is making you feel responsible for their choices. They often speak in ways that trigger guilt, hoping you'll sacrifice your own happiness to satisfy them. They may imply that you're selfish for setting healthy boundaries or accuse you of not caring enough. A Stoic understands that compassion does not require self-destruction. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that we are responsible for our own character, not for controlling the emotions of others. When someone repeatedly uses guilt instead of honest communication, they are seeking control rather than understanding. The strongest response is not anger but calm clarity. Listen carefully, think logically, and refuse to carry burdens that were never yours. Manipulative people also love making promises they never intend to keep. They know hope is powerful, so they offer exciting words about future changes, loyalty, or opportunities simply to keep you emotionally invested. Again and again they promise things will be different, but nothing ever changes. Stoicism teaches us to judge people by consistent actions rather than beautiful speeches. Words can be rehearsed, but character is revealed through repeated behavior. Instead of becoming attached to promises, pay attention to patterns. Truth leaves evidence, while deception survives only through repeated excuses. Another common tactic is pretending that every problem is somehow your fault. Fake people avoid accountability because admitting mistakes would expose their true character. Instead, they twist reality until you begin questioning yourself. Over time, this can damage your confidence and make you dependent on their version of the truth. Stoicism reminds us that reason is our greatest defense. Before accepting blame, calmly examine the facts. Ask yourself whether the criticism is supported by evidence or simply designed to control your emotions. A peaceful mind is difficult to manipulate because it values truth over emotional pressure. Some people flatter you constantly, not because they admire you, but because they want something from you. Excessive praise can become a hidden form of manipulation when it is used to lower your guard. Once trust is established, they begin asking for favors, money, attention, or loyalty. The Stoics warned against becoming addicted to praise because dependence on compliments makes us vulnerable. Real confidence comes from knowing your own values, not from seeking approval. Accept kind words with gratitude, but never let compliments replace careful judgment. Manipulators often tell you that everyone else is against you while presenting themselves as the only person you can trust. This tactic creates emotional isolation. The more isolated you become, the easier you are to control. Stoicism encourages us to seek wisdom from many perspectives and to build relationships based on honesty, respect, and mutual growth. Healthy people encourage your independence. Manipulative people fear it. Protect your ability to think for yourself, and never allow one person's opinion to become your entire reality. Fake people also enjoy creating unnecessary drama because emotional chaos makes logical thinking more difficult. They exaggerate conflicts, spread gossip, and constantly shift attention toward negativity. Their goal is to keep everyone emotionally distracted while they quietly gain influence. Stoicism teaches that external events do not control our peace unless we allow them to. Refuse to participate in pointless arguments or gossip. Silence, patience, and self-control are often stronger than the loudest response. Inner peace is one of the greatest forms of personal power. Perhaps the most dangerous phrase fake people use is telling you that you're overreacting whenever you express genuine concerns. This makes you doubt your own feelings and instincts. While emotions should always be guided by reason, they should never be dismissed simply because someone finds them inconvenient. Stoicism teaches emotional mastery, not emotional denial. Listen to your intuition, examine the facts carefully, and trust your judgment when evidence supports it. Confidence grows when your decisions are rooted in wisdom rather than fear. The greatest lesson Stoicism offers is that your peace belongs to you alone. No manipulator can steal your confidence unless you surrender it. By practicing self-awareness, patience, discipline, and reason, you become someone who cannot easily be controlled. Fake people may continue using the same words, but they will no longer have the same power over your mind. True freedom begins the moment you stop reacting emotionally and start responding wisely. If this video helped you see people more clearly, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more powerful Stoic lessons that strengthen your mind, protect your peace, and help you become emotionally unshakable. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message, and leave a comment telling us which lesson spoke to you the most. Your support helps this channel grow and allows us to bring you more life-changing Stoic wisdom every week. Have you ever noticed how the people who claim to care about you the most can sometimes leave you feeling the weakest? They speak with confidence. They smile at the right moments. They know exactly what words to use. Yet after every conversation, your peace seems to disappear while theirs remains untouched. This is not an accident. Manipulative people understand that words can become invisible chains. They don't need force when they can influence your emotions. They don't need to control your hands if they can control your mind. This is why Stoicism remains as powerful today as it was thousands of years ago. It teaches that your greatest freedom begins the moment you stop allowing other people's words to dictate your emotions. Most people spend years trying to change the people around them. Stoicism teaches something completely different. Instead of trying to control another person's behavior, it asks you to master your own reactions. This simple shift changes everything. When your peace depends on someone else's honesty, loyalty, or approval, you have unknowingly made yourself their prisoner. But when your peace comes from your own principles, no liar, manipulator, or fake friend can truly disturb your inner world. That is the kind of strength every Stoic seeks. Manipulators study emotions the way warriors study battlefields. They know when you feel lonely. They notice when you seek acceptance. They recognize your fear of rejection and quietly use it against you. They rarely attack directly because obvious attacks are easy to defend against. Instead, they plant small seeds of doubt. They make you question your memory. They make you wonder whether you are asking for too much. Slowly, without realizing it, you begin abandoning your own judgment. That is exactly what they want. The moment you stop trusting yourself, you start depending on them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes colored by the thoughts it repeatedly entertains. Think carefully about that. Every sentence you allow into your mind shapes the person you become. If you constantly accept words filled with fear, guilt, and manipulation, your mind gradually reflects those emotions. But if you choose thoughts rooted in truth, courage, patience, and reason, your character becomes unshakable. This is why protecting your mind is one of the greatest responsibilities you have. There is something fake people never expect. They expect anger. They expect arguments. They expect emotional reactions. What they rarely expect is calm silence. A person who cannot be emotionally provoked is incredibly difficult to manipulate. Stoicism teaches that silence is not weakness. Often, silence is evidence that your emotions serve your reason instead of controlling it. The calmer you become, the clearer you see people's true intentions. Think about the strongest people you have ever met. They probably were not the loudest. They did not constantly defend themselves or seek attention. They possessed something far more valuable. They had quiet confidence. Fake people struggle against individuals like this because confidence removes the need for outside approval. When someone already knows their worth, empty compliments lose their power. Empty insults lose their sting. Manipulation simply has nowhere to take root. One of life's greatest mistakes is believing that kindness means saying yes to everyone. Stoicism teaches compassion, but it never teaches surrendering your principles. You can be respectful while refusing manipulation. You can be patient while maintaining firm boundaries. You can forgive someone without giving them another opportunity to harm you. These ideas confuse manipulators because they expect kindness to equal weakness. Instead, they discover that genuine kindness often stands beside incredible strength. Imagine standing beside a massive oak tree during a violent storm. The wind screams. The rain crashes against its branches. Smaller plants bend until they nearly touch the ground. Yet the oak remains rooted because its strength comes from deep beneath the surface. Stoicism asks you to become like that tree. Let criticism come. Let gossip spread. Let fake people reveal themselves. If your roots are planted in wisdom, honesty, discipline, and self-respect, the storm cannot uproot you. Many people believe peace comes from avoiding difficult people. While creating healthy distance is sometimes necessary, Stoicism teaches an even greater lesson. Real peace comes from developing a mind that remains steady even when difficult people are nearby. You cannot control every workplace, every family gathering, or every unexpected encounter. But you can control how much influence those people have over your thoughts. That is freedom no one can steal. The philosopher Epictetus reminded his students that people are disturbed not by events themselves, but by the opinions they form about them. This wisdom remains powerful today. A manipulator may insult you, but whether that insult controls your emotions depends on your interpretation. If your confidence depends entirely on another person's opinion, every criticism becomes painful. But if your confidence rests on your character, insults become little more than passing sounds. Ask yourself an honest question. How many sleepless nights have you spent replaying conversations that the other person probably forgot within minutes? How many hours have you wasted trying to explain yourself to someone who never intended to understand you? Manipulators thrive when they occupy your thoughts long after they leave the room. Stoicism encourages you to reclaim that mental energy. Every minute spent chasing another person's approval is a minute stolen from your own growth. As you continue watching, you may recognize someone from your own life. Perhaps it is a coworker, a friend, a family member, or even someone you once trusted completely. Resist the temptation to become consumed by anger. This journey is not about revenge. It is about awareness. Awareness gives you choices. Choices create freedom. Freedom creates peace. The truth is that fake people will always exist. Every generation has encountered them. Every culture has warned against them. The goal is not to eliminate them from the world because that is impossible. The goal is to become someone whose wisdom makes manipulation ineffective. Once you achieve that, their greatest weapon loses its power. If you're finding value in these lessons, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every video is designed to help you strengthen your mind, protect your peace, and apply timeless Stoic wisdom to modern life. Your support helps this community grow and allows us to continue sharing life-changing insights with people around the world. Part 2. Some of the most dangerous manipulators never appear dangerous. They smile with warmth, speak with confidence, and present themselves as people who only want the best for you. Their words sound caring, yet their actions quietly steal your confidence. This is why the Stoics urged people to look beyond appearances. A person's true character is revealed not by what they say when everything is easy, but by how consistently they live according to their words. Anyone can make promises. Anyone can sound convincing. But only a person of integrity allows their actions to speak louder than their voice. When you begin studying human nature, you notice an important pattern. Honest people appreciate clear communication. Manipulative people prefer confusion. They rarely answer simple questions with simple answers. Instead, they change the subject, twist your words, or make you feel guilty for asking in the first place. Before long, the original issue disappears, and somehow you find yourself apologizing instead. Stoicism teaches us to slow down in these moments. A calm mind notices what an emotional mind overlooks. Never rush to defend yourself before understanding what is really happening. There is tremendous power in taking a pause before responding. Fake people expect immediate emotional reactions because emotions cloud judgment. Imagine someone insults you, criticizes your decisions, or questions your worth. Your first instinct may be to fight back or prove them wrong. But the Stoic response is different. Take a breath. Observe your emotions without becoming their servant. Ask yourself whether this person's opinion deserves space inside your mind. Most of the time, the answer is no. Your peace is too valuable to surrender over careless words. Many people spend years trying to convince fake people to become genuine. They hope that enough love, patience, or sacrifice will eventually change them. Sometimes people do change, but lasting change always begins with personal responsibility. You cannot force honesty into someone who profits from deception. You cannot teach integrity to someone who enjoys manipulation. The Stoics accepted a difficult truth: we can guide others, but we cannot control their character. Accepting this reality saves enormous amounts of emotional energy. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is learning to walk away without explaining everything. Manipulators often demand endless explanations because every explanation gives them another opportunity to argue, criticize, or twist your words. They ask question after question, not because they seek understanding, but because they seek control. Stoicism reminds us that your decisions do not require universal approval. Sometimes a respectful no is complete by itself. Have you noticed how fake people often become uncomfortable when you begin improving your life? They may joke about your discipline, question your new habits, or suggest that you have changed. In reality, you have changed. You have become more aware, more confident, and less dependent on their approval. Growth exposes unhealthy relationships because not everyone benefits from your success. Some people only felt comfortable when you doubted yourself. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the shortness of life. He understood that every day wasted on meaningless conflict was a day that could never be recovered. Imagine reaching the end of your life and realizing you spent years worrying about people who never truly valued you. That thought alone should inspire you to guard your time with greater care. Time is more precious than money because once it passes, no amount of wealth can buy it back. Another tactic manipulators use is inconsistency. One day they praise you. The next day they ignore you. They alternate between kindness and coldness until you begin chasing their approval. This emotional roller coaster creates dependence because you start working harder for the moments when they treat you well. Stoicism breaks this cycle by teaching emotional independence. Your self-worth should never rise or fall according to another person's unpredictable behavior. Real confidence is surprisingly quiet. It does not constantly seek validation. It does not feel compelled to win every argument. A confident person knows that peace is often more valuable than being right. Fake people mistake this silence for weakness until they realize that nothing they say can shake your foundation. That realization frustrates them because manipulation only succeeds when someone reacts emotionally. There is an old Stoic principle that deserves constant practice: focus only on what you can control. You cannot control whether someone lies about you. You cannot control whether people misunderstand your intentions. You cannot control whether fake people continue being fake. But you can control your honesty. You can control your patience. You can control your discipline. You can control your response. Those are the things that shape your character, and character is worth protecting above everything else. As your wisdom grows, you will notice something remarkable. You stop attracting the same kind of toxic relationships. This is not because manipulators disappear. It is because they quickly recognize that their usual tactics no longer work on you. Boundaries become stronger. Your confidence becomes steadier. Your decisions become calmer. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond thoughtfully. Instead of fearing rejection, you welcome authenticity. Instead of chasing acceptance, you pursue truth. Remember this whenever you encounter fake people. Their words reveal far more about them than they do about you. A dishonest person naturally speaks through dishonesty. An insecure person often projects insecurity onto others. A peaceful person spreads peace. A manipulative person spreads confusion. Learn to observe without immediately absorbing everything you hear. Not every opinion deserves your attention, and not every criticism deserves your belief. If these lessons are helping you build a stronger and more peaceful mindset, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Together, we're building a community dedicated to Stoic wisdom, emotional resilience, and personal growth. Share this video with someone who needs these timeless lessons, and let us know in the comments which insight has impacted you the most. Part 3. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that not everyone deserves unlimited access to their heart. This realization can be painful because it often involves people you once trusted deeply. You may remember the conversations, the laughter, the promises, and the moments when you believed they would always stand beside you. But Stoicism teaches us not to judge people by isolated moments of kindness. Instead, judge them by the consistency of their character. A single act of generosity does not erase years of manipulation, just as a single mistake does not define an honest person. Wisdom comes from seeing people as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. One of the greatest mistakes kind-hearted people make is believing that everyone thinks the way they do. Honest people assume others value honesty. Loyal people assume others value loyalty. Compassionate people assume others care about the feelings of those around them. Unfortunately, fake people often use these good qualities against them. They recognize kindness as an opportunity rather than a virtue. They know generous people are more likely to forgive. They know patient people are more likely to give second, third, and fourth chances. Stoicism reminds us that kindness without wisdom becomes vulnerability. The philosopher Seneca once warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Manipulative people understand this better than most. They create uncertainty because uncertainty causes the mind to invent frightening possibilities. They delay important conversations. They refuse to give clear answers. They leave you wondering where you stand. While you lose sleep trying to understand them, they remain completely comfortable with the confusion they created. A Stoic refuses to become trapped inside endless speculation. Instead of imagining possibilities, they observe facts. Facts bring clarity, while assumptions often create unnecessary suffering. Have you ever noticed how some people only contact you when they need something? Days, weeks, or even months may pass without hearing from them. Then suddenly they appear, speaking with warmth and enthusiasm. At first it feels flattering. But after a while, you recognize the pattern. Every conversation leads to another favor, another request, or another sacrifice from your side. True friendship is built on mutual respect and genuine care. It does not exist only when one person benefits. Stoicism teaches us to value relationships rooted in virtue rather than convenience. Another powerful lesson from Stoicism is learning to separate love from attachment. Loving someone means wishing them well. Attachment means believing your happiness depends on their presence or approval. Manipulators thrive on unhealthy attachment because it makes you afraid to disappoint them. They know you fear losing the relationship, so they quietly increase their demands. The Stoic path is different. It encourages love guided by wisdom, where affection exists without surrendering your self-respect. You can deeply care about someone while refusing to accept disrespect. The strongest people are not those who never experience pain. They are the ones who refuse to let pain transform them into bitter individuals. Fake people often leave emotional scars. Betrayal hurts. Lies hurt. Broken trust hurts. Stoicism never tells us to pretend these wounds do not exist. Instead, it teaches us to heal without allowing resentment to poison our character. Carry the lesson, not the bitterness. Learn from the experience, but refuse to let someone else's actions determine the kind of person you become. There is remarkable freedom in accepting that you cannot make everyone understand you. Some people have already decided who they believe you are, regardless of the truth. No explanation will satisfy someone committed to misunderstanding you. Marcus Aurelius advised himself to continue living honorably, even when others judged him unfairly. Your responsibility is not to control another person's opinion. Your responsibility is to live according to your values every single day. Manipulators often rely on emotional urgency. They pressure you to decide immediately. They tell you there is no time to think. They insist that if you truly cared, you would agree without hesitation. Stoicism encourages the exact opposite approach. Slow decisions often become wise decisions. A peaceful mind does not fear taking time to reflect. If someone becomes angry simply because you asked for time to think, their priority may not be your well-being. It may be controlling the outcome before you have the opportunity to recognize the truth. One of the greatest signs of emotional maturity is becoming comfortable with disappointing people when necessary. This may sound harsh, but it is essential for protecting your peace. Every time you say yes to something that violates your principles simply to avoid disappointing someone else, you quietly disappoint yourself instead. Over time, these small compromises become heavy burdens. Stoicism teaches that integrity matters more than popularity. The approval of others is temporary, but your character remains with you every moment of your life. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones. Every insult you remember adds another stone. Every betrayal you refuse to release adds another. Every argument you replay over and over becomes another heavy weight. Eventually the burden becomes exhausting. The Stoics invite us to put the backpack down. Not because those experiences never happened, but because carrying them forever serves no purpose. Forgiveness does not always mean restoring a relationship. Sometimes forgiveness simply means refusing to let the past continue controlling your future. As your understanding grows, you begin recognizing manipulation much earlier than before. The warning signs become obvious. Empty promises. Constant excuses. Emotional pressure. Endless criticism. Convenient kindness. Instead of ignoring these signs, you trust your observations. This does not make you cynical. It makes you wise. Wisdom allows you to protect your peace without losing your compassion. Always remember this powerful truth. Your value was never determined by the opinions of fake people. Their inability to appreciate your honesty does not reduce your worth. A diamond remains valuable even when someone mistakes it for an ordinary stone. Likewise, your integrity, kindness, discipline, and courage remain priceless, even if the wrong people fail to recognize them. If these Stoic lessons are helping you become stronger, calmer, and more confident, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another video. Join thousands of people who are learning to master their emotions, protect their peace, and build an unshakable mindset through the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Part 4. There is a quiet strength that fake people can never imitate. It is the strength of a person who has nothing to hide. When your words match your actions, when your promises are backed by discipline, and when your character remains the same whether people are watching or not, you possess something manipulation cannot destroy. Stoicism teaches that integrity is not something you perform for others. It is something you practice for yourself. A person of integrity sleeps peacefully because they are not burdened by lies, deception, or the constant fear of being exposed. Many people believe confidence comes from receiving praise. The Stoics believed the opposite. True confidence comes from keeping the promises you make to yourself. Every time you choose discipline over excuses, honesty over deception, and courage over fear, you strengthen your character. This kind of confidence cannot be taken away by criticism because it was never built on the opinions of others. Fake people crave applause because applause is the foundation of their identity. A Stoic seeks virtue because virtue remains even when the crowd disappears. One of the most painful experiences in life is discovering that someone you trusted was never truly loyal. At first, the truth feels unbearable. You replay memories, searching for the moment everything changed. You wonder whether you missed the warning signs or ignored your instincts. But with time, you realize something important. The betrayal did not begin when you discovered the truth. It began the moment they chose dishonesty. Their actions reveal their character, not yours. You are not responsible for another person's lack of integrity. Manipulators often expect endless chances without ever accepting responsibility. Every mistake comes with another excuse. Every broken promise is followed by another explanation. Eventually, they expect forgiveness without change. Stoicism teaches that forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. You may forgive someone to free your own heart from bitterness, but trust must always be rebuilt through consistent action. Words can ask for forgiveness, but only actions can restore confidence. Have you ever noticed how peaceful life becomes when you stop trying to prove yourself to everyone? There is incredible freedom in realizing that your value does not depend on winning every argument or correcting every false accusation. Some people will misunderstand you no matter how clearly you explain yourself. Others will criticize you simply because your growth reminds them of their own excuses. Let them speak. Your life is your greatest answer. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that people act according to what they believe is good, even when they are mistaken. This perspective does not excuse manipulation, but it helps us avoid hatred. Many fake people are driven by insecurity, fear, jealousy, or an endless desire for validation. Understanding this allows you to respond with wisdom instead of revenge. Their inner conflict is already a punishment greater than anything you could ever give them. One of the greatest signs of emotional freedom is learning to enjoy your own company. Manipulators target those who fear being alone because loneliness can make people accept unhealthy relationships. Stoicism encourages us to become comfortable in solitude. Solitude is not isolation. It is an opportunity to strengthen your mind, reflect on your values, and develop independence. When you genuinely enjoy your own peace, you become far less willing to trade it for toxic companionship. Imagine standing beside a clear lake early in the morning. The surface is perfectly still, reflecting the sky like a mirror. Now imagine throwing stones into the water. The reflection becomes distorted until the ripples disappear. Your mind works the same way. Every unnecessary argument, every insult you replay, and every manipulative conversation creates ripples within your thoughts. Stoicism teaches us not to throw unnecessary stones into our own minds. Protect your inner calm because clarity only exists in peaceful waters. As your awareness grows, you will notice that fake people often reveal themselves through inconsistency. They tell different stories to different people. They praise someone in public and criticize them in private. They change their principles whenever it benefits them. At first, these contradictions seem small, but over time they become impossible to ignore. A person with strong character remains consistent because truth does not require constant adjustment. There is another lesson that many people learn too late. Not everyone deserves access to every part of your life. You do not owe every person your deepest thoughts, your biggest dreams, or your personal struggles. Wisdom teaches discernment. Share your heart with those who have proven through time, honesty, and loyalty that they can be trusted. Protecting your peace is not secrecy. It is maturity. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to become stronger than you were yesterday. Yesterday's betrayal does not have to become tomorrow's identity. Yesterday's disappointment does not have to define your future. Stoicism reminds us that the present moment is the only place where virtue can be practiced. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can choose your response today. Every wise decision becomes another brick in the foundation of an unshakable life. Perhaps the greatest victory is not exposing fake people. It is reaching a place where their behavior no longer controls your emotions. Imagine how powerful your life becomes when lies no longer shake your confidence, when criticism no longer steals your peace, and when manipulation no longer influences your choices. That is the freedom the Stoics pursued. It is a freedom that no one can give you and no one can take away. Never forget that your greatest investment is your character. Wealth can disappear. Fame can fade. Relationships can change. But the habits you build, the values you protect, and the discipline you practice remain with you throughout your life. Choose honesty even when deception seems easier. Choose patience when anger feels tempting. Choose wisdom when emotions become overwhelming. Every choice shapes the person you are becoming. If this message has encouraged you to protect your peace and strengthen your mind, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Together, we are building a community dedicated to timeless Stoic wisdom, emotional resilience, and personal growth. Share this video with someone who needs these lessons, and leave a comment telling us which idea has had the greatest impact on your life. Part 5. There is an old Stoic lesson that has survived for centuries because it speaks to every generation. It reminds us that the quality of our lives depends less on what happens to us and more on how we respond to what happens. Fake people cannot always be avoided. Betrayal cannot always be prevented. Disappointment cannot always be escaped. But your response remains your greatest source of freedom. The moment you understand this truth, you stop living as a victim of other people's behavior and begin living as the master of your own mind. Many manipulators spend years creating an image instead of building real character. They carefully choose what people see. They speak differently depending on who is listening. They become whatever others want them to be because their identity depends on approval. The Stoics rejected this way of living. They believe that your private character should be identical to your public character. A person who lives honestly has no need to remember lies because truth remains consistent. Sometimes the hardest lesson is accepting that closure does not always come from another person. We often hope for an apology that never arrives. We wait for someone to admit the harm they caused. We expect justice to appear exactly as we imagined it. Yet life rarely unfolds that way. Stoicism teaches that waiting for someone else to bring you peace gives them control over your happiness. Real closure begins when you accept reality without demanding that it become different. Imagine carrying a burning piece of coal because you hope to throw it at someone who hurt you. Before it ever reaches them, it burns your own hand. This is what resentment does to the human mind. It consumes your thoughts, steals your sleep, and drains your energy. The person who wronged you may continue living without concern, while you continue carrying the weight of anger. The Stoics understood that forgiveness is not about excusing harmful behavior. It is about refusing to let another person's actions occupy your mind forever. One of the greatest signs that you are becoming emotionally stronger is that you stop reacting to every opinion. Not every criticism deserves a response. Not every insult deserves your attention. Not every misunderstanding needs to be corrected. Wisdom teaches you to ask a simple question before speaking. Will my response improve this situation, or will it simply create more conflict? Very often, silence is the strongest answer. Fake people often fear honest individuals because honesty exposes deception without saying a single word. Your integrity becomes a mirror reflecting their lack of character. This is why some people become uncomfortable around those who consistently choose truth. They may criticize you, avoid you, or even spread false stories about you. Do not let this discourage you. Darkness has always resisted light, but light continues shining without asking darkness for permission. There will be seasons in your life when you feel completely alone. Friends may disappear. People you trusted may disappoint you. Plans may fail despite your best efforts. During these moments, remember that solitude is not your enemy. Some of the greatest transformations happen when life becomes quiet enough for you to hear your own thoughts. The Stoics welcomed these periods because they understood that character is strengthened in silence long before it is recognized in public. Every challenge you overcome teaches you something valuable about yourself. Every betrayal reveals the strength you did not know you possessed. Every disappointment develops patience. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to practice wisdom. Marcus Aurelius viewed life's difficulties as training rather than punishment. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" That single question changes the way you experience hardship. Success is often misunderstood. Many people measure success by wealth, popularity, or status. Stoicism offers a different definition. A successful life is one lived with courage, wisdom, justice, and self-control. These qualities cannot be stolen by dishonest people. They cannot be destroyed by criticism. They cannot disappear during difficult times. They become permanent parts of your character through daily practice. As your mind becomes calmer, you will notice something remarkable. Situations that once overwhelmed you begin to feel manageable. People who once controlled your emotions lose their influence. Arguments that once consumed your thoughts no longer deserve your attention. This is not because the world changed. It is because you changed. Your perspective became stronger than your circumstances. Never underestimate the power of daily discipline. Great character is not built in a single moment of inspiration. It is built through small choices repeated over months and years. choosing patience when frustration appears, choosing honesty when lying seems easier, choosing gratitude when life feels unfair, choosing peace when others seek conflict. These small victories eventually create an extraordinary life. Remember that every morning offers a fresh opportunity to become the person you admire. Yesterday's mistakes do not define today's decisions. Yesterday's failures do not determine tomorrow's future. Stoicism teaches that each sunrise is an invitation to practice virtue once again. You are never too late to begin living according to your highest principles. If these timeless Stoic lessons are helping you build emotional strength, inner peace, and unshakable confidence, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every new video is created to help you master your emotions, overcome life's greatest challenges, and become the strongest version of yourself. Share this video with someone who needs these words today, and leave a comment below describing the lesson that has inspired you the most. Part 6. There is a powerful truth that many people spend their entire lives trying to understand. You cannot control whether someone chooses honesty or deception, loyalty or betrayal, kindness or cruelty. Every person makes those choices for themselves. What you can control is the standard by which you choose to live. The Stoics believed that a person's greatest achievement was not becoming rich, famous, or admired, but becoming someone whose character remains steady regardless of circumstances. When your life is built upon principles instead of emotions, the opinions of fake people begin to lose their influence. Think about the strongest tree in a forest. It did not become strong because every day was filled with sunshine. It became strong because it survived storms, harsh winds, and seasons that tested its roots. Human character develops in much the same way. Every disappointment teaches patience. Every betrayal teaches discernment. Every obstacle teaches resilience. Instead of asking why life has become difficult, begin asking how these challenges are making you wiser. Every trial carries a lesson for those willing to learn. Fake people often believe they are winning because they manipulate others into temporary success. They gain attention through lies. They gain trust through false promises. They gain opportunities by pretending to be someone they are not. But the Stoics understood something they did not. Anything built on dishonesty eventually collapses under its own weight. Truth may move slowly, but it always has remarkable endurance. Character grows quietly while deception slowly destroys itself from within. One of the greatest mistakes we make is expecting life to be fair every single day. Sometimes good people experience heartbreak while dishonest people appear to prosper. Sometimes those who work the hardest receive little recognition, while those who deceive others receive applause. This can make the world seem unjust. Yet Stoicism reminds us that our responsibility is not to control outcomes but to control our actions. Whether the world rewards you today is beyond your control. Whether you remain honorable is entirely your choice. There will always be moments when revenge feels tempting. Someone lies about you. Someone betrays your trust. Someone intentionally causes pain. The desire to repay them can become overwhelming. But revenge often creates another chain that keeps you connected to the very person you wish to escape. Every angry thought gives them another moment of your attention. Every plan for revenge allows them to occupy your peace. The Stoics chose a different path. They focused on becoming better rather than becoming even. Nothing frustrates a manipulator more than watching someone they tried to break become stronger instead. As you continue growing, you will discover that peace is not found by controlling other people. Peace is found by controlling yourself. Imagine waking each morning without resentment weighing down your heart. Imagine facing criticism without losing confidence. Imagine hearing gossip without feeling the need to defend yourself immediately. This is not emotional weakness. It is emotional mastery. The Stoics believe that true strength is measured by the ability to remain calm when everyone else expects you to lose control. One of the greatest forms of wisdom is learning to recognize when a chapter of your life has ended. Some friendships belong to a particular season. Some relationships teach valuable lessons before naturally coming to an end. Holding on to people who continuously bring dishonesty, manipulation, and conflict into your life prevents you from making room for healthier relationships. Letting go is not always an act of loss. Sometimes it is an act of self-respect. Never allow loneliness to convince you to return to people who repeatedly disturbed your peace. Solitude may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is often far healthier than companionship built on manipulation. A peaceful life with fewer genuine people is worth far more than a crowded life filled with fake relationships. Quality has always been more valuable than quantity. This is true not only in friendships but in every part of life. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he would encounter selfish, dishonest, jealous, and arrogant people. Yet he refused to become like them. That is perhaps one of the greatest lessons Stoicism offers. The behavior of others should never determine the quality of your own character. If someone chooses dishonesty, let them own that choice. If someone chooses manipulation, let them carry its consequences. Your responsibility is to remain faithful to your own principles. There is incredible freedom in becoming someone who no longer needs constant approval. When compliments come, you accept them with gratitude but do not depend on them. When criticism comes, you examine it calmly and learn from it if it contains truth. If it does not, you let it pass without allowing it to disturb your peace. This balance is one of the greatest achievements a person can reach. The world will always contain people who pretend to be something they are not. Do not waste your life trying to expose every one of them. Instead, become so deeply committed to truth that deception becomes obvious without effort. Let your honesty speak louder than their lies. Let your patience outlast their anger. Let your discipline overcome their excuses. In time, people will recognize the difference. Remember that your greatest victory is not proving fake people wrong. Your greatest victory is proving to yourself that you can remain kind without becoming weak, forgiving without becoming foolish, confident without becoming arrogant, and peaceful without becoming passive. These are the qualities that create an extraordinary life. As this journey continues, remember that Stoicism is not about becoming emotionless. It is about refusing to let destructive emotions control your decisions. Feel disappointment, but do not let it become despair. Feel anger, but do not let it become hatred. Feel sadness, but do not let it steal your hope. Every emotion is temporary. Your character is what remains. If this message has encouraged you to think differently about your life, your relationships, and your inner strength, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week, you'll discover powerful Stoic lessons that help you build resilience, wisdom, confidence, and lasting peace. Share this video with someone who needs these timeless truths, and leave a comment below with the lesson that has transformed your thinking the most. Part 7. There is a question that every person should ask themselves at least once in life. Who are you when no one is watching? Not when your friends are around. Not when your family expects something from you. Not when social media is waiting to applaud your success. Who are you in the quiet moments when only your conscience can judge your decisions? The Stoics believe that the answer to this question defines the quality of your life. Reputation belongs to other people. Character belongs to you. Reputation can be stolen through gossip, misunderstanding, or lies. Character can only be surrendered by your own choices. Many people spend years trying to build a good name while neglecting to build a good soul. They chase admiration instead of wisdom. They seek popularity instead of integrity. But admiration fades. Trends change. Public opinion shifts like the wind. Character, however, becomes stronger every time you choose honesty over convenience, discipline over comfort, and courage over fear. The person you become is infinitely more valuable than the image you create. One of the greatest traps fake people set is convincing you that your value depends on their opinion. If they praise you, you feel confident. If they criticize you, you begin doubting yourself. This is emotional slavery. Your confidence should never be rented from someone else's approval. The Stoics understood that self-respect comes from living according to your principles, not according to changing opinions. The moment your happiness depends on another person's validation, you hand them power they never deserved. Think about the ocean during a storm. The surface becomes violent, waves crash against one another, and the wind creates chaos. Yet deep beneath the surface, the water remains calm and undisturbed. Stoicism invites you to develop that same inner depth. Let the world become noisy. Let criticism come and go. Let dishonest people reveal themselves. If your inner foundation is rooted in wisdom, the storms around you cannot destroy the peace within you. There will always be people who misunderstand your silence. Some will call it weakness because they cannot recognize self-control. Others will mistake your kindness for vulnerability because they have never experienced genuine compassion. Continue walking your path anyway. You do not need to explain your character to people who have already decided not to understand it. Your consistency will eventually speak louder than any argument ever could. Remember that every difficult person you meet becomes an opportunity to practice patience. Every disappointment becomes an opportunity to practice resilience. Every betrayal becomes an opportunity to strengthen your discernment. Life itself becomes your teacher when you stop asking why challenges exist and start asking what they are trying to teach you. This perspective transforms obstacles into stepping stones instead of roadblocks. Perhaps the greatest lesson Stoicism offers is that nothing outside your character can truly define your life. Wealth may come and go. Friends may enter and leave. Opportunities may appear and disappear. But your ability to choose honesty, wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control remains with you every single day. These virtues become a treasure that no thief can steal and no manipulator can corrupt. Imagine looking back on your life many years from now. You will not remember every argument. You will not remember every insult or every rumor. But you will remember the person you chose to become. You will remember the moments when you remained calm while others became angry. You will remember choosing forgiveness instead of revenge, truth instead of deception, and peace instead of unnecessary conflict. Those moments will define your legacy far more than temporary victories ever could. Never be discouraged if your growth feels slow. Great character is not built overnight. Just as a mountain is formed through countless years of pressure and change, your strength is built through daily choices. Every time you refuse to participate in gossip, every time you protect your peace, every time you remain honest despite temptation, you are becoming stronger than you were yesterday. Small acts of discipline create extraordinary lives. The world needs more people who cannot be bought by praise or broken by criticism. It needs people who remain kind without becoming naive, confident without becoming arrogant, and humble without becoming weak. Be that person. Let your life become an example of what Stoicism looks like in practice. People may forget your words, but they will remember the peace, strength, and integrity they experienced in your presence. And finally, never forget this truth. Fake people can manipulate emotions, but they cannot conquer a disciplined mind. They can spread lies, but they cannot erase truth. They can imitate confidence, but they cannot imitate genuine character. The greatest victory is not defeating them. The greatest victory is becoming someone they can no longer control. If you've stayed with me until this moment, it tells me you're serious about becoming mentally stronger, emotionally wiser, and impossible to manipulate. Thank you for being part of this growing community. If this video inspired you, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join us for more powerful Stoic wisdom designed to help you master your emotions, protect your peace, and build an unshakable mind. Every new video is created to help you grow into the strongest version of yourself. Leave a comment below and tell us, which lesson touched you the most, and what change will you make starting today? If you know someone who is struggling with fake people, manipulation, or emotional pressure, share this video with them. It might be the message they need to hear today. Until next time, remember the words of the Stoics. Protect your mind, guard your character, and let your peace be stronger than the world's noise.